Section 11.1, we're going to identify parts of a circle. So first of all, every circle has a center. That is not the center, neither is that. There's the center. Okay, so couple different things. We're going to learn quite a bit of vocabulary today. A chord. What is a chord? It's a segment whose endpoints are on the circle. For example, here and here. Notice it does not have to go through the center. So this is considered chord AB. Actually, let's pretend like this is not there. If this is A and this is B, then we call this chord AB. Notice this looks like this, so this is our notation for a chord. Next. Now, diameter is a chord because it is a segment whose endpoints are on the circle, so the endpoints are on the circle, but the diameter specifically passes through the center of the circle. So this would be called diameter CD. So it is a chord too, but more specifically, it's a chord that goes through the center of the circle. A radius is a segment with one endpoint at the center of a circle and the other at any point on the circle. So that's a radius. This could be a radius. This could be a radius. This could be a radius, right? And all the way around. So this specific one that they have in orange here would be called radius GE. A secant is a line. Notice lines extend on forever in both directions. So notice the arrows on the end here. So it's a line that intersects a circle at 2 points. It does not have to go through the center. So secant is, we use this line over the top with arrows because secant extends on forever in both directions. So that's where we get the notation from. So secant AB. And last but not least, we have a tangent, and it's a line in the same plane of a circle that intersects the circle at exactly 1 point. So pretty much it's on the outside of the circle, and it just touches the circle at that 1 point. So we would call this tangent XZ, and the point of intersection is called the point of tangency. So the circle intersects this tangent at point Y. So the point of tangency here is Y. My notes, my filled out notes look a little bit different than this. So if you guys do watch this video and look at the filled out notes, just know that this looks a little bit different than the notes. All right, so tell whether the line or segment is best described as a secant, chord, tangent, radius, or diameter. So we have AD. AD intersects the circle, intersects whose endpoints are on the circle, but it also goes through the center, which more specifically makes it a diameter. Okay, so it is a chord, but more specifically, since it goes through the center, we call it the diameter. Okay, let's look at HB. HB has endpoints on the circle, but it doesn't go through the center, so we just call that a chord. Now look at the notation for EG. EG has arrows on the notation, so that means it's either going to be secant or tangent. But if you guys look at EG here, it intersects the circle only at 1 point F, so that's how we know that it's a tangent. Whereas when you look at JK, JK is a line because it has arrows on the end, but it intersects at 2 points. So that's how we know that line JK is a secant. From the diagram, give an example of each. So a radius, there's a couple different ways you could answer this one. We could have radius CE, or you could have radius CD. Okay, so those are both a radius. Diameter goes through the center of a circle and has endpoints on the circle. So this would be, it doesn't matter whether you call it DE or ED. So there's our diameter. Chord. Well, technically that diameter is a chord. Okay, but more specifically, if we want to pick one that's not the diameter, we also have chord AB here. Secant is a line that has endpoints on the circle. So here's a line, and the endpoints are on the circle, so we could call that JH or HJ, it doesn't matter. But make sure you put the line above the top since it's a secant and it extends on forever in both directions. And then the tangent just hits the circle at one point. So here's our point of tangency, and here's our tangent line. So we'll call this line FG, or you could say line GF, it doesn't matter. And the point of tangency is point K, because that's where the tangent hits the circle. And actually, we can just specify and say point K. And that's it for today's lesson. That's all I have. I took out the rest. I think this is the most important stuff that I want you guys to focus on. So your homework looks like this. The diameter of a circle is given. Find the radius. Okay, radius is actually half the length of the diameter. So we're going to take the diameter and divide by 2, and that gives me a radius of 7.5. Again, divide this by 2, divide this by 2, etc. Now the next section, number 4, says the radius of a circle is given. Find the diameter. Well, if you're given the radius, then we need to double that to find the diameter. So 26 times 2 is 52 inches. All right, multiply this by 2. We have 124 feet for the diameter, etc. You guys can do the rest. Tell whether the line or segment is best described as a chord, secant, or tangent. Remember, secants are lines and tangents are lines, but tangent just hits at one point. Okay, it's just a line at one point. So yeah, there's those 6, and then same thing, a secant, a tangent, diameter, or radius. And then here, identify a chord, secant, diameter, radius, and a point of tangency. So that's it for your homework. Please let me know if you have any questions.